Hi, Kris. Could you just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about the work you do at the moment and why you joined that?
Um, I'm Kris McLaughlin. I joined APT to gain more experience around employment for people with a disability. Um, I'm involved with Enable Scotland. I'm an ACE member. ACE is um, it brings people together um, to campaign for for people with with disability, to help them live independently.
How does your disability affect you in the workplace?
I've been shown what to do, as in multiple times, if required, to show um to help along the way of employment.
Yep. So you need like probably like a buddy type
Yeah,
thing, but at the same time, not someone who is looking over your shoulder all the time. You would want to be quite independent
yeah,
where you can in the workplace. Am I right?
yeah.
Now I know you've had various experiences in employment, so it would be great if you would tell me something about that and about whether like it was a positive or negative experience, or what parts were positive and what parts were negative. Obviously I know some of your examples, but for anybody watching this vlog who maybe doesn't, it would be great if you would share that example.
I was in a 0 contract through Global Recruitment. Global Recruitment are an agency for if you want to become a bin man or a driver for the bin lorry. The positive bit was I got experience of moving and handling with a wheelie bin, and putting it on the back of the lorry. The bad experience was it didn't last very long because it mixed up my benefits. It took me about a month and a half to get back on track, to get back into some kind of normal.
You mentioned about impacting on your benefits, but were you told at the beginning, or were you advised of whether there was an opportunity to have for you to like get a long term contract, or was it always a bit unknown?
I was advised at the beginning that it was going to be a 6 month contract. It ended just after Christmas, and then I got a phone. Then they kept on calling me up all the time to come out and to cover shifts, basically. And that's not what I was wanting. I was wanting a full time role, basically.
Yeah. And you mentioned about that impacting on your benefits. Did Was there no way that you could work a certain amount of hours before it impacted?
I was out to work. It was like a minimum, but because I was over that minimum,
Okay. And you weren't aware of this before that happened?
no,
Also, um, so you just felt it easier to leave that employment until you could get something that was more suited to you?
yeah,
I also know from talking to you before that you have some concerns around access to work and how um, how you have to work a certain amount of hours before you're entitled to support for access to work. Do you want
yeah.
to tell me a bit more about that and what
Um,
your concerns are and what has been your experience trying to access support from Access to Work?
Access to Work was a nightmare in one word and no brackets. Because I was working under 16 hours, even though I was over 16 hours. But for Access to Work to kick in, I had to be over 16 hours, and I had to be for 6 weeks to I could turn that to. I had to work in the workplace for 6 weeks before it would turn around.
But then even then you couldn't apply because it was you worked under 16 hours, so
Yeah.
you can't get support from Access to Work unless you were working over 16 hours or more. And then if that's the case, it affects your benefits. Is that a good way of summing it up?
Yeah.
But you are aware of the good things that Access to Work support can do for people in the workplace. You're just not able to access it right now. And that's, I think, one of the things that you have highlighted through the PSP that you would like for the PSP to help highlight the fact that Access to Work should be available for people who can work, but maybe not as much as 16 hours. Would that be a fair sort of sum up of what I've heard you say in the past?
Yeah, I think, because it's not, well, as we said before, we can't just I can't just like emboss an employer for not trying. So it is a fair understanding of a bit of balance between Access to Work and leveling their playing field, so that it's not just 16 hours or more. It should be just any number, as long as you're working for an organisation and you can prove that.
So my next question probably falls in quite nicely to what you've just said. So can you give any good examples from your experiences of good practice from your employer supporting you in the workplace?
On my first day on the job, I got a buddy to help, so I could move along with the job, and that helped me to understand the health and safety on the job, to wheeling the bin closer instead of away from. It really helped. It helped as we worked as a team to get the job done.
See, you've said about how the body helped you in a positive way. Do you think working with you helped the person that was your buddy to understand more about disability? Were they open to that? Or how did you feel about that in working with the person as a buddy?
It really helped. I didn't really let on that I had a disability as such. I just kind of went along with it and thought they knew that I had a disability kind of thing, and let them kind of use their imagination kind of thing.
Yeah, so do you think that helped them as an employee to learn from you about supporting somebody with a disability?
I think so.
Did they make it? Did they react positively to it, or did you feel like part of the team?
I did. They included me in everything. They included me how to do the job, put the bin on top, out of the bin, onto the rack, onto to lift it up kind of thing. They showed me around the bin lorry kind of thing, how it all operates kind of thing.
So how do you think good practices should be implemented in policy making in the workplace?
That question I'm not too sure about because I don't know that much about it.
So you spoke about a bit about earlier about a supported employment program, and I know that you've mentioned some of these in the past. So you've obviously had some experience in participating in some of these, but how could these supported employment programs be better?
I think that with the program, the 8 to 10 weeks or whatever it is, 13 weeks for your First Start Scotland kind of thing. And because it's only 13 weeks, it's not long enough to know that person kind of thing. So you've got to build up, well, for myself, you've got to build that relationship with that person, get to know them, get to understand where you want to work, what you're wanting to do, and how you're going to get from A to Z kind of thing.
Do you want to tell me a bit more about like how does being in employment impact on your well-being?
Oh, great! I love the routine, getting up early in the morning. Because I know I'm going to work. I know that I'm going out there to serve the community, or in any job. It doesn't matter if it was the bin man or it was in hospitality or where I'm just now. I'm a rapporteur for SCLD. SCLD is the Scottish Commission for People with Disabilities, and it's I'm in the part where Include for Good. Include for Good was designed for people with lived experience to showcase, to kind of get employers to come to us instead of we going to them kind of thing. It was to kind of put a spin on employment altogether kind of thing.
Yep. So does being in employment make you feel you have a purpose, and that does it make you feel good about yourself, and does it impact on all aspects of your life if you're in employment?
Definitely. I think I just said there, like, routine as a purpose, because I think for myself, not being employed, it's like, oh, I don't need to get up today. I'm not getting up. I'm not going anywhere. Or your self-worth just goes down. Or, as well as saying goes, mental health has played a big impact on most of it.
Yeah.
And I think that was mostly covered in the Train for Trainers by some people when they were talking about mental health and different things, and disabilities and things as well. But I think routine is a must for people. Well, for most people who are watching this vlog, would maybe to give them a clear understanding on what they're looking for. But I think routine, getting up in the morning, having your breakfast, your cup of coffee, and away to work you go.
Yeah. So what do you think has been the key things that you've learned so far when you've been in employment? Like,
patience is more, like, I like to rush into things. I don't know why I'm not called Dan, by the way, because I like to run into things heads first. Like, I left school at 17. I went to college for 3 years, and then I had gaps in between. But I think for me, again, I think that the barriers that I've overcome have been met by compromise more than anything else, because I think that with this CLD, they've compromised. I'm still working from home, even though I'm sitting like if I'm in a swing park, but I'm not. But yeah, but it's these wee things that make you smile, that get you through the day as well. And the barriers that I've faced from being so young, with employment, has been unreal. I don't know why nobody just went and got a grab machine and dropped it down and picked me up and won me, kind of thing. Because I think that if they did, they'd have won the lottery with an employee like me, or yourself, kind of thing as well. But I think most jobs are just harder to come by, or they make them harder to understand on what we have to do, or what they're looking for in an employee.
Yeah, so that's more about the challenges, but in yourself, you've learned to take a step back, and you've learned that flexible working works best for you. Is that what I'm understanding from what you've said?
Yeah,
And you've learned that you've got a lot of skills and that you could bring to a workplace if given the chance.
definitely.
So it's just about finding that chance, I guess, and finding the right chance that works for you.
Yep. I think when I first joined the PSP, I didn't think that I was going to get as far with it. I didn't think it was going to last as long. I thought they'd just kind of drop me, kind of thing. But the PSP's carried me through with different opportunities to see like different work streams, different policies, different everything. It's turned my life upside down a wee bit, because it's like
In a good way, I
seen,
hope.
yeah, in a good way. I've seen different things. Well, I've not seen before. I'm learning different things that I wouldn't think that I would learn. Like,
You mean in terms of employers and the types of employers that do want to engage and be more inclusive and things like that?
definitely. I'm thinking as well the different things that I've done as well, from being the bin man to being a kitchen porter and hospitality, to coming online and meeting new people online. It's been it's been it's been great. The support from the PSP, I would totally highly recommend to anyone
Yeah.
to give it a shot.
The PSP were involved when you were, what is it, the midman or the porter, were they? What
No,
you've learned, about being able to talk about your experiences with the PSP like this and share
definitely,
to improve things for all disabled people and employees as well.
definitely.
You've would it be fair to say that you've learned that your experiences can help other people?
Yes, definitely. I think if they're looking for a chat, I was going to say, if they're looking for a challenge, then the PSP is the place to go. Because you'll get the support, you'll get you'll get someone to meet one-to-one who can guide you along the process.
Yeah. So, what my last question is, what tips would you give employers as a disabled employee in terms of what they can do to employ and retain a diverse workforce? So, as a disabled person, if I was an employer talking to you now, what would you be saying to me that I should be doing to make things better so that for disabled people in the workplace?
I think for myself, like a buddy would help most a bit longer, to so that I could pick up at pace and my pace don't go way too far ahead kind of thing. Understanding is actually supposed to be what I need, like the balance or of I don't know, like
talking to you about what you need and asking you rather than just assuming
yeah,
that they think they know what you need. It'd be better if they talk to you and ask Kris what you need to do, isn't it?
yeah,
Rather than just thinking, oh, I think he knows, I know what he needs. Would that be fair?
yeah, definitely. I think as well, like they run too far ahead. Like interviews, for example, they ask you questions and you're like, you need a minute to think about it, or you need someone there to kind of give you a prompt. And sometimes they're not allowed to come in with you. You've got to go in yourself with the whoever's doing the interview kind of thing. Which sometimes can be a wee bit worrying to do.
Yeah. So even from an interview stage, right through to actually being in employment, it's better to talk to the people that are being interviewed and employed, basically, to find out what they need.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about tips for anything an employer shouldn't do?
I think assume would be one of them. Don't just guess your way through a disability. I think ask more questions should be a tip for the employer kind of thing. Don't wait until that person's left the room and then go, oh, I was asked that question, or I was asked that question.